Welcome to Peak Humans. Today I'm joined by an incredible guest, Tim Vliet. He is an expert in breathwork and cold exposure with a fascinating journey from the world of finance to optimizing human potential. Tim started his career as a stock market trader and highly educated finance professional, earning his Chartered Financial Analyst Level 3 designation, which is one of the hardest financial designations to get in the industry. I've heard that from many friends who have that as well. But after
Uh,
years in the high stakes world of trading, he discovered the power of breath work, a practice he's now mastered for over 15 years. As the founder of TT Breathing and Simplified Tummo, Tim has developed a simple yet highly effective method to help leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals take control of their physiology, performance, and well being. His techniques are trusted by world class executives and organizations, impacting thousands of lives globally. Through his Breathwork University, he's now training a new generation of breathwork and cold exposure instructors, ensuring that more people experience the transformative effects of TT breathing. Get ready to dive deep into the science, philosophy, and practical application of breathwork with Tim on today's episode of Peak Humans. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Naeem.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on. We spoke first, it was a few years ago now. I'm happy we
hmm
got to circle back and reconnect and have this podcast.
Amazing. Thank you
Can
for
you
having me.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little about your story? It's similar to mine. I used to actually work on Wall Street before I got into the coaching
Mm,
world. So tell us a
yeah,
little about your story. You went from being an options trader and having a CFA
yeah,
designation to breathwork.
yeah. I started as an option trader on the floor, the trading pit. The guys with collar jackets for people that are young. They don't know what we're talking about. Maybe the older ones do. Collar
Yeah.
jackets, screaming quotes. Like really like the pit. And I'm going to give you the very short version. That ended in working for myself and then in 6 months losing my money, like all of it, which was 600,000. And no stories about spending, making it rain, nothing like that. I just went on my bicycle to work and lost on average about 3,000 a day because I was panicking. Then I think this is where my personal development started. So I was 33, so that's 22 years ago. And then I started working for a Swiss algo trading company. So working with like PhD in mathematics and quantum mechanics and stuff like that. Like very interesting. We traded automatically, and this is where I got back up again. And then around 15, 16 years ago, it was just, I started to lose my energy. It was time to stop. I didn't really know what to do. And then in those last 2 years working for this Swiss algo trading company, I really started developing myself, reading self-help books. You probably know how that goes. Starting yoga and doing yoga, there was this breathing practice, pranayama, breath of fire, like that. And the alternate nostril in, out. And I just loved that so much. And there was so little focus within yoga on it. So I started practicing that every day. Then around 9 years ago, I met Wim Hof. I became friends with him and I became a Wim Hof method instructor. Around 6 years ago, I was so fed up with doing the Wim Hof method every day that I started playing around. And this is how my own techniques came into existence. About 3 years ago, I stopped being a Wim Hof method instructor because it was time to go my own way. And since 4 years, I'm training my own instructors. We're now at a count of 250 to 300, where 100 are very active. And also we're connecting like on a daily basis. We have this WhatsApp group where everybody is helping each other out. And now I'm here sitting with you.
Wow. That's all. I love that you have that many instructors that are out there teaching your work. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how did you meet Wim? And then eventually, what got you fed up with the Wim Hof method?
I met Wim in Brighton in the UK, and we were both having a talk there because I was already into teaching more on meditation level. And
Mm.
we were both in Brighton to have a talk, and we had the same hotel, and we had a full day free. So we spent, I think, 6 hours together talking about the good things, about the bad things, about the breath, about the eyes, but also about, like his story with his ex, with his wife, and all the crap that he had in his life.
Yeah.
And the end of the day, we sat in a bar, a gay bar, to drink a beer. And my summary of that meeting was, "Hey, you're a brother from another mother, touching my heart, but the same mother planet."
Mm,
And he
yeah.
said, and that was very funny. He said, "Yeah, still fucked up, but I'm aware this time." So anyway, this is where we became friends. I was one of the most active Wim Hof method instructors in the world. And, like honestly, it was, I got away. It was from both sides. I had a instructor program because there's more than the Wim Hof method and there's my own techniques. But in my instructor program, I'm not only teaching about my own techniques, also about other techniques, because breath work is not, there's only one technique.
Mm.
There, like as an instructor, I think you should be aware of what is out there. So that was their reason to stop with me. And my reason to stop with them was like, I don't know Wim as a guru, but as a normal guy. But he was put away in his team as a guru. And, people were like, and it became like, one of my values is no bullshit.
Mm.
And that is mostly about what is going on in my own head. You know what I mean? Is this really true what I'm thinking? No. But also I don't like that BS level. That is something, by the way, that I developed being a trader. Like
Mm.
like knowing what people mean, not what they say.
Yep.
Like call it intuition, or in trading you call it your BS meter. But it was like wee, wee, and it was just time to go, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made because now I do it myself. And yeah, it's like freedom, busy but free.
Yep.
So that's the short version. Sorry if it
Nice.
took too long.
No, that's great. We'd love to hear the story. I love that. So from yoga, it's so interesting because yoga, and correct me if I'm wrong, but yoga is meant originally it's a breathing practice, right? Pranayama. But like you said, there's still a little emphasis on the breathing, right? The nose
Mm.
breathing. I forget what that's called, or the breath of fire. What's the nose
Yeah.
breathing called again?
Alternate nostril or
Yeah.
nadi sodra, I believe, something like that.
Yeah. So it's interesting how, like, even with the yoga, right, especially in America, I guess, or the West, it's not as much emphasis on the breath part, but it's more
Mhm.
on the movement, which is great too. But I love that you notice that and you're full on with the breath work now. Can you tell
Yeah.
us about your program a little bit?
About the instructor program?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So, level one is really the basics of breath work and most of the science. And it's not only about breath work, it's also about cold exposure and also about exercise. Like my holy trinity, and I want my future instructors to do a morning routine every day, a little bit of exercise, and it can be as little as 2 minutes. A little bit of breathing can be as little as 5 minutes, and ending your shower cold and can be as little as 30 seconds.
Mm,
But it's that is the holy trinity. So, one of the things that I heard Wim say, you don't need to exercise, just breathe. And half an hour later, he says, like, I'm getting too fat. I can only eat one time a day. I was like, what about exercise? Breath
yeah.
work is my 80%, but the exercise and the cold exposure is very important.
Mm,
So in my, the whole program consists of 3 levels and a retreat. And level one is really where I jump in the front. I take all 8 group coaching sessions. There's a lot of material online. In level two, there's 4 of my teachers that are teaching in my level two, and the same for level three. So I take half of the sessions, and the other half are done by my peers, basically. So it's very, it has a lot in it.
mm.
It's very
Yep.
conclusive, I think, is the English.
Yep.
So what I focus on, because what I feel very strongly is that most breathwork instructors are in the kind of in the woo-woo space, and there's nothing wrong with yoga. You know, like I do yoga every day, like serious yoga. Um, so I'm a total yogi, but it's a lot of say teaching in the yoga school. There's a lot of breathwork instructors that do that, and also are a little bit woo-woo. And where I focus on is to keep it rational. You know, where we are needed. This is one of my USPs: is the corporate world. How do you teach in the corporate world? It's not only about my own techniques, but you learn about breathwork in general.
Yeah.
Um, Breathing in public spaces, something I see nowhere. I make a thing out of that because every time you're annoyed, you're waiting, you're getting bored, you know, like I was 15 minutes early on this call and I was waiting, but I'm not waiting because I'm just breathing, you know. So to kill time with breath work, oh my God, that is really, really making life a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. But there's a clear focus on teaching in the corporate world, and I have like private calls with each participant to set up your business. You know, because two know more than one. And I'm very much inspired, and I'm getting into business also with people that are aware of my program. Those who are serious, I'm going to work together with. So it's really, you know, I really want to bring breathwork, and not only my own techniques, but breathwork in general. I want to bring that out to the world. And I think the best way where we have the most impact is in the corporate world, where we're most needed. So that is a little bit about my program.
Yeah. You do a lot of executive breathwork coaching as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
both privately. So I have an American business. It's called Breathing for Success. One-on-one exclusive breathwork coaching. But also, like yesterday, I did a UK, London group of venture capitalists, and often these are people that have never heard from breathwork. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm also a busy guy. I have 5 kids and a lot of business going on. So I love the 1 minute, the 2 minute, and the 5 minute sessions, and I get like half an hour with 20 venture capitalists. You know, not 2 hours, half an hour.
Yeah. That's all they need.
That's all they need.
Probably
And then
more than enough for
afterwards, I
them.
send a message like, "Oh, here's my app, and let me know if you need help. Leave my phone number." And yeah, often you know people need more help, or you know you can always do it yourself. And if you really want to dive deep, you can ask for help.
Yeah.
Simple as it is.
I saw on your YouTube channel, which is just, it's your name, right? Tim Vandervliet, right?
Yes.
Um, the breathing for while you're scrolling on social media, which I thought was really smart.
Yes. Stop scrolling. Take a
Yeah.
breath in. Yeah.
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 But that's so key, especially that during scrolling, because most people probably like shorten their breath. They maybe getting like, because of all this FOMO or whatever, right? Social media is kind of like
Mhm.
a dopamine engine. So I think that's a really smart idea to think about. I think it's always great to think about your breathing, but it's easier said than done for a lot of people. But especially like during social media, that's a great one.
Mm. I think when you're scrolling on social media, especially those shorts, you're likely not conscious of your breathing. And this
Yeah.
is why we do, you know, why do you breathe in the morning? Well, then you're more conscious, apart from, you know, obvious health benefits, you're more aware of your breath.
Yep.
So you will be more focused on breathing out longer, breathing slower, maybe breathing little, maybe sometimes taking a few deep breaths or doing a 5 minute exercise, you know, before lunch, for example, if you have the tendency to overeat during lunch. You do 5 minutes of breath work before lunch. Guaranteed you're not overeating anymore. So
Mm.
it is just, I really want to scream it off the top of the roofs. It's just so amazing, you know, from going to panic into a deep state of meditation in 1 minute time to longer sessions where you're basically tripping out like you had some kind of psychedelic, you
Yeah.
know? And it's all just in here. We're carrying it around every day, everywhere.
It's unbelievable. We're our greatest pharmacy if we know how to activate it, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I forgot to mention too. So for the people that are listening, Tim's gonna do a couple breath works during the show. So
Yeah.
maybe whenever you're ready, we'll do one to start. Maybe in a few minutes, or if you're ready now, we could do one, and then maybe towards the end as well, we'll do another one. I'm curious, what would be one if I thought about it because you said before lunch, like what would be a good one people should do before they eat some food?
So, basically, let me introduce this a little bit. Basically, you can use breath work in three ways.
Yeah.
Crisis management. You know, you come back from lunch, your email has exploded, everybody wants an answer now. Stress.
Mm.
This is crisis management. So you use breath work to get out of your sympathetic fight or flight into the parasympathetic, and it takes a minute and nobody sees it. So you can do it, you know, like while I'm listening to you, I'm controlling my breath, simply said. Then the second is like the 5 minute, my signature TT5, 5 rounds of TT5, takes 5 minutes. And this is one I think we can do towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is morning routine, evening routine, prepare for an important sales meeting. You know, you can use it like in any way, in the train, you know, just whenever you have time or make time, of course. And
Yep.
then there are like, say, an hour of breathing continuously, like conscious connected breathing, like really getting into the trippy state, in deeply into the physiology of your own body, and like raising consciousness, simply said, during a breathwork session. So of course the latter we're not going to do because then we cannot talk. But yeah, let's start with the technique that I use with people in an ice bath that are panicking.
Cool.
Yeah, it's called 4 to 8. It's extremely simple. You take a deep breath in, you hold for 2 counts, and you breathe out twice as long as your breath in. So 3 rounds take less than a minute. And the people that are listening, please um, check in with yourself how you feel now. And let's see, you know, because I never ask people to just buy what I say. You want to check for yourself if this works or not. So
Yep.
also the 5 minute session later on, I will do the same. We will do a test before and after to show you how it works rationally.
And if they're driving or anything, they should not be driving, or does it not matter?
With this one, it is okay, but in general, breath work, you don't want to be driving or near the water because what we're going to do is very light, but you still don't want to do it. I met two people personally who thought they were both instructors and both guys, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say white guys. Um, um, they put their car the other way around on the highway because they thought it wouldn't happen to them. You know, you got to realize always when you take deeper breath and you breathe faster than you need to, there is a chance that you're going to lose it for a moment, you know. And if you're in a car then or in the water, it's seriously, this is the danger of breath work. You cannot breathe yourself to death, but you can pass out and hurt yourself. But for this one, this is really, really okay.
Cool.
So even if you're driving, you can join this.
Cool. So this one, you inhale and then you hold for twice as long as the inhale, then you exhale.
Now you hold for only 2 counts.
Okay. Like two,
So
like one.
yeah, you got to realize that when people go in an ice bath for the first time, they often panic. What do you get then?
Yeah.
Hyperventilation. So what does hyperventilation look like? High in the chest and very much focus on the breath in. So it's like the breath in is twice as long than the breath out. This is hyperventilation. So how do you get from that state into calmness? By having a little breath hold, because we hyperventilate
Mm.
because somewhere in our brain there's some danger registered. So we need to pump more oxygen to the body, and this is why you start to hyperventilate. Well, the danger is, well, the ice bath is actually a real danger, but only if you do it very long. But normally the dangers in our life are really not, it's really not there, you know, so we
Yeah.
stress out for nothing. And when you
Cool.
take that little hold, there's the air is under pressure, right? Because you're holding on the breath in. And when this is basic physics, but if a container is under pressure, gases move faster. So there's more oxygen flowing in your bloodstream and CO2 out.
Mm.
Then you get like a little signal to the brain, like, hey guys, I think we have enough oxygen. And therefore, and this is what it's about, you can make your breath out longer. And we calm down when we breathe out longer than we breathe in. And then when you're over that panicky state, you're calm, even though you're lying in an ice bath or, I don't know, at your job, everybody's panicking, you will not.
Mm.
And then you can skip the breath hold. But let's just do this, okay?
Cool.
The 1 minute calm down at command technique, or get over a panic attack. Okay, let's take a deep breath in. Hold, 1, 2, breathe out for 8. In for 4. Hold. Out twice as long. One more, extra slow. Breathe slower in. Hold. And out as slow as you can. And now notice how you feel. It's cool, right?
Yeah, that last one really got me going, breathing out slow. I was like, wow.
It takes 2 or 3 breaths, to do this. And you don't have to do this for an hour. It's just when you get over your, I think I'm okay now, then you can skip the hold and just breathe slowly, for example, or
Yeah.
just move on with your day, whatever you need to do at the moment.
I like how you do the progressions. I've done your other ones that you on YouTube. I like how you do the progressions, and I love how you make it so it's like microdoses of breath or breathing. Because you could do
Right?
10, 20 minutes, but also
Yeah.
literally a minute will make a difference, like it just did.
Yeah. And this is the same how I sport too. I do microdoses. I do a morning routine that is really light, like 5 minutes. But these days I'm going 5, 6 times a week to hot yoga. And that is light training for me now. So if you keep on building up those snacks almost,
Yeah.
like if I have a busy day, I'm doing breath work for 3 hours because when I'm guiding, I'm also breathing myself maybe a little bit less. So yeah, it's the most it's the most amazing job. Number one, you're selling thin air, which is kind of a joke, of course. Number two, you get to help people. Number three, you get to work on yourself while you're helping other people. I mean, where can you get that?
Yep. That's a trifecta. I love that. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you I tell my clients to check in and pause and do some breath work throughout the day or meditate. And it's similar, right? Breath work is pretty aligned with meditation too. But do
Mhm.
you have a recommendation on when people should do some breathing? A lot of times I tell people that they got to tune to themselves, but some people aren't really good at that yet. But what would you say for people in terms of how often and when to do it?
Well, for me, it starts out in the morning. Like this is what I tell my instructors and my future instructors. Every morning, 2 minutes of exercise, like so your body remembers it has to move. 5 minutes of breathing. Can I do it in the evening? Well, yes, you can. But if you do it in the morning, like after the 5 minutes, you're in a deep meditative state. Maybe you want to do another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to meditate. Maybe you need to run off. But you take this with you. So the whole day,
Yeah.
when you have 5 minutes, you're like, oh, let me do some breath work. Or, oh yeah, remember to slow down my breathing. Oh yeah, where am I breathing? In my chest? Am I breathing through the nose? So you're more breath aware. So if you do that in the morning, likely you're going to do it more. And before you know it, without putting any extra time in it, it's just the 5 minutes in the morning. You kill that moment, and before you know it, you do 1 hour of breath work a day, but effortlessly. Not like waking up at 4 because, at 5 my day starts and I have to do. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. 1 hour of breath work is better than 5 minutes. But most of my clients, they want to build a morning routine. They went to Tony Robbins, tried the 45 minutes, it was too much. They give it up. They feel even worse afterwards. I make it so minimal that you have no excuse not to do it anymore. If you still come with excuses, maybe I cannot help you.
Yep.
because
I love that. And I
the
agree.
horse in the water.
I agree. And doing it in the morning to start the day, right? You get that priming and that boost throughout the whole day, right? Like kind of like
Mm.
exercise in the morning too. And I love how you stack the three of them, the exercise, the breathing, and the cold exposure in such an easy way.
Yeah, and cold exposure is just very simple, whenever you shower, you end it cold.
Yeah.
And, like I almost have my setup in my backyard. So, yes, I also have a permanent ice bath, because I like to explore more depth on that part. But the real, it's like brushing your teeth. This is why
Yeah.
you have clean teeth. And then once a year you go to the dentist. But really, because you brush 2 times a minute your teeth a day, is why you have clean teeth. So I'm for micro training. Okay, did my 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Now I'm going to do yoga, but first I'm going to take a nice, like it goes automatically whenever I have time. I'm working on myself, but not because I have to, but because I want to. And
Mm,
that all starts with that minimum morning routine in the morning.
so awesome. Yep.
Awesome. It is.
So you have the program is called, I'm on your website looking at it. It's the TT University for
Yeah,
the
so
instructors.
TT stands for Tim's Techniques. Like I it's just a name.
It's a catchy
And
name.
there's
I like it.
several. I've like six different breathing techniques now, from unblocking your nose to TT Energy, TT Calm, TT DMT, which is more for a trippy effect. Um, and it's called TT Tim's Techniques. And my techniques are basically whatever I have adopted in the past, but it will also change in the future, because
Yeah.
this is my private agenda. But with this group of 100 active instructors, like I'm getting so much good information because everybody knows something else. And we're really like working
Yeah.
together with all of us. So that's my main source of information. And of course, when I get invited for a podcast, so the last week, I think I listened five of Brian's podcasts.
Yeah.
Amazing, really good info. Like I absolutely love your podcast.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that you're building the community. It's so key, right? To build the community of people around you. So, and
Hmm.
I love how you talk. It is about getting the information, right? It's like we're a network of nodes, right? So it's cool that you're training people to do that, and then it just informs you more on how to improve and help more
Yeah.
people.
And it also, like when I stopped with Wim, I was out on my own. I didn't have my community anymore, kind of.
Hmm.
And I realized that it's very important. And I realized actually that almost all breathwork instructors are living on their own island,
Yeah.
inventing the wheel by themselves. And we are just, everybody's helping each other out. And
Yeah.
it's not always positive. So one of the instructors suffers from anxiety attacks suddenly, or whatever, or a daughter that becomes sick. So it's really a community. It's the best community I've ever had. And
Mm.
the fact that I started it is very much not important. It's just a
Yeah.
really, really cool community.
Yeah. What do you do to build the community?
I let people know that I instruct instructors through YouTube, email list, and I'm not super cheap or something, but
Yeah.
what you get is really a lot.
Yeah.
Like I had a call like a few days ago with one of my instructors in the program now, that was didn't know what to do with it, and I said like, but what about that? What you just said? Why didn't you? And this is not about breath work, but it was about music for kids.
Yeah.
Why didn't you copy that idea and turn it into breath work? And she went like, oh my God, that
Yeah.
is just such a good idea. And it's not, I have no clue when I start a conversation like that where we're going to end. But I spend also private time. My instructors are well, after my kids, the most important people in the world. I want them
Yeah.
to do great. I want them to be abundant. I want them to
Yeah.
make it a business,
Yep. I love
not
that.
just sell the program.
Yep. I asked because, like you said, most breath instructors are kind of on an island. Same with coaches, right? And I kind of bucket us in the same category.
Hmm.
We're here trying to help the world with our tools and make the world a better place. But it's interesting. A lot of people are on their own island, and a lot of coaches, breath work instructors, healers that aren't very good at the business side, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
building a business, getting clients, building community.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool
Mm-hmm.
how you're
Yeah.
doing that, and also teaching people how to do that too.
Yeah.
What about cold exposure? I love cold plunges. I still want to get one. I
You
don't have
do?
it yet. I'm thinking about which one to get. If I'm going to do the homemade one, maybe like the chest freezer, or if I'm going to get like that plunge one. Uh, but yeah, I cold plunge at my friend's house. He has one over here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it depends a bit on how much money you have to spend, but a chest
Yeah.
freezer is like 1,000. And what's the famous brand? I actually met the founder, Scott is his name. He wrote a book. Okay. Um, I forgot the brand of the ice bath, but it's like 10 or 20,000. So
Is
it
it the
depends a
plunge?
bit.
Oh, maybe not the plunge though. That one's like 6,000, I guess.
Yeah, they're getting cheaper now.
Yeah.
Um, so cold exposure, it's the same idea. You do your mini training. Now, of course, you're in Miami, the water is warm. You got a problem, right? I mean, the hot weather is amazing. But then you really want to look for things like a permanent ice bath. And my idea is do not overdo it because I've seen, like the people, the guys that are in the Wim Hof method are like pushing it to the, like, oh, Tim, can you help me? I've pain in my knees after my ice bath. I'm like, sure. How long did you take an ice bath? 20
Yeah.
minutes. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? So keep it light. Consistency is
Yeah.
more important than intensity. So I do 10-minute ice bath only when I give a retreat. I got one coming up in April in Brazil. Towards the end, we do that long ice bath also to teach my instructors what a real after drop is when you're like shivering. But I do 2, maybe 3 minutes of ice bath. I can do longer, but it's
Yeah.
not about that. I've met a few people already who did like 3 ice baths and were building it up and going to 10, 20 minutes, and they actually got more inflamed. While one of the benefits of cold exposure is inflammation down. But
Yeah.
there's always this bandwidth,
Yeah.
where a little bit is good so that activation of yourself, even with a cold shower. So if you're in a cold country like Finland or Amsterdam and the Netherlands or the UK or whatever, or Northern America, like that would be enough of a mini training. And if you want to bring it further because of your own personal development, which is my story, this is why I'm having a permanent ice bath. Like let's see, if I do this every day and build it up a little bit, how that works for me. But it could be also because of illness. For example, if you have arthritis, you would want to do a daily ice bath and maybe a 5-minute one, but not because of pushing, like call it the male energy. More money, everything more.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
doesn't bring you happiness, my friend. Like I'm sure I'm kicking in an open door here, but still.
No, 100%, man. So many people do that, unfortunately. And it's kind of that, what's that? Well, in my coaching language, I can kind of say like that significance oriented thing where it's like status oriented. I could do better, right? Like bigger, stronger, faster, which isn't always
Yeah.
the best. So I agree.
So
So what is a good protocol? You said like 1 or 2 minutes, like how often, every
I would
day
say,
or?
yeah, I would say cold shower without fail, 30 seconds, but
Yeah.
build it up to 2 minutes. And like when I do 2 minutes in the beginning, I'm doing hot yoga and then like a cold shower. In the beginning, oh, you're like, oh, it's cold. And after 2 minutes, you're like, now I'm okay. I could stand under it 10 times. So in general, you face like 3 walls when it comes to cold exposure. When it's like pretty cold, whether
Yeah.
cold showers here or an ice bath. Getting in, where you think, oh, swear word, and then halfway through, and then towards the end, and then at a certain moment, you're like, oh, but now I'm okay. I'm really completely calm, meditative state in the ice bath. That's the moment not to stay in, but to get out.
Mm, yeah.
We don't need to compare, like maybe you do 8 minutes every day and I do 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you 4 times better than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's actually, it sounds like there's diminishing returns if you actually stay in too long.
It's out. And there's no science on that yet, but
Yeah.
I'm very sure. And of course, like you can get into hypothermia, so we're not talking about that. But if you do
Yeah.
long ice bath, but there's definitely somewhere where you can do too much and you will get too inflamed. But it's based on a few observations, so call it testimonial evidence, and my belief system. But I don't have any science about that. Either I'm not aware of it or it isn't there yet.
Yep.
Well, there was this one research that said 11 minutes per week is optimal.
Mm.
And I was like, I like that. It's like 2 minutes a day and then Sunday, nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I do small doses. Usually when I do it 2 minutes, sometimes three. So maybe I could even cut it down to two. But it makes such a big difference. When I played basketball in college, that's what I'm curious about. When I played basketball, we would dunk our legs in the ice for 20 minutes at the end of a game.
Mhm.
What was the deal with that? I didn't do the research.
So, yeah, I love the question because I'm a complete, nerd when it comes to breath work and ice bathing. So you can use an ice bath as recovery. And I'm
Mhm.
guessing that you went in with your legs, but not with your chest.
Yeah, it was just
Am I
like the
right?
ankles and knees pretty much. Those are the things that always hurt the most.
Exactly. So this is a great way to recover yourself. If you're like, I don't know, playing professional, you're a professional athlete and you have to perform today and 2 days from now, and that is like too much for your body,
Yeah.
you can use an ice bath to get rid of the lactic acid. That's basically what you're doing. You're squeezing the
Mm.
blood vessels, the lymphatic system, so the lactic acids are going out. So for recovery, long ice bath, only the places that you have used.
Got
So,
it.
so 20 minutes, I think is pretty long. But if I hike like Mount Fuji, it's like 18 hours, 30% incline. I take a 10-minute ice bath exactly for this purpose.
Yeah.
Yet that is for recovery. If you're building strength, you need the lactic acid to build your muscle tissue. So if you are like super body and you're totally fit and you're after a game and you need to perform 2 days from now, a long ice bath. But if you're in your training, you want to wait a few hours with doing your ice bath. Or maybe better, do your ice bath before your training because that is
Mm.
raising testosterone levels, that is creating confidence, um,
Ah,
well, and a lot of other good things.
yeah. That's cool. I like that. That's a good distinction. Because,
Hmm.
and then, so I also heard sometimes it's not good to ice bath after exercise because it constricts the blood flow.
Well, it's not because of the blood flow, it's because of the lactic acid.
Okay.
The lactic acid, if your goal is to train, then to build muscles, I want to say,
Yep.
then you don't want to do cold exposure afterwards. Maybe a quick cold shower, okay, but not like serious stuff.
Got
Do
it.
it before, because when you do it before, you have more energy
Yeah.
and you're actually creating more muscle tissue. And then if you would have like a serious workout, like a serious CrossFit workout, I would wait 3 to 5 hours if your goal is to build muscle,
Yep.
which I think it is for a lot of guys.
Yep. Cool. I like that. I like the idea of doing it before. I've done it before and I definitely get more energized for the workout. It makes the
Yeah.
workout a lot easier.
Yeah. And then the rest of the day, you have dopamine, endorphins,
Yeah.
which are released because of ice bathing, but also testosterone. Yeah, it's just, happiness is for sale. If
Yep.
you spend, I don't know, like $20 to get in an ice bath, another $20 to do your workout, you feel amazing the rest of the day,
Yeah.
whether you have like shit going on or not.
It's unbelievable. Everybody
It's
talks
unbelievable.
about longevity. All the keys to longevity are free, right? You don't need peptides, you don't need stem cells, you need breath work, cold water, and exercise.
Exactly. And a bit of food, meditation, and mindset. So my
Yeah.
my my what to do, the Holy Trinity is exercise, breath work, cold exposure, and a bit more in the back because I don't want to overwhelm people all too much, but it's of course nutrition, you
Yeah.
know. Of course, meditation, which kind of goes, we can actually do a 2 minute exercise, breathing
Yeah,
exercise that gets you in a deep meditative state. Let's do this.
let's do that.
Meditation, but also mindset. Mindset is, well, eventually, and I'm not sure if humanity is there already, but I think that would be humanity 2.0 when our minds become cleaner and cleaner and
Yeah,
cleaner. And we start, I honestly, I believe that at a certain moment, you can think of, order your brain to produce a certain hormone. This is what is my belief system. It
yeah,
doesn't make it true, right? It's just the funny woo-woo Tim that is like believing weird stuff that we can command, like if you want to fall asleep, focus on the center of your brain where your pineal gland is and keep on repeating, produce melatonin, more
yeah.
melatonin. I think within 10 times you're like,
Well,
it works for me,
I
it
agree with
works
you
for me.
100%. And that you sell thin air. That's what I sell the mindset, right? I sell thoughts. So I'm 100% agreeing with you on that. But
Yeah,
it's true, right? Because people think themselves into cancer and like heart disease because when they think, they a lot of times raise their cortisol and these hormones, right? So
exactly.
I agree with you.
Epigenetics,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
If you can eat a carrot and know that it's going to give you cancer, or you can eat white sugar and know that it's healing you,
Yep.
like humanity 2.0 will be mindset only. So it
Mm.
doesn't matter. But we're not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I need healthy food,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
example.
Yep. I think at the end of the day, I think it's definitely a blend of both, but the mindset is huge for sure, right? Like I like how you
Mm.
said it though, having cleaner minds. That's cool. It's a good visual to tell people, right? Is your mind, do you have a dirty mind, right? Or a clean mind? And that's a good
Sometimes.
hook. That's a good hook too, right? Not that dirty mind, Tim. I know you got that. All right, cool.
Well,
Should we
I
do that?
also,
Go ahead.
yeah, um, let's do that. It's that technique to get you in a deep meditative state. And here, I would want to say if you're driving a car or if you're in the water, park the car. Um, Although it's still, no, let's just be strict. Do not join when you're driving a car. All right, so this is called 100 to 1. First breath, 100% in, nose in, 100% out, mouth out. Then 90%, 80%, 70, 60. From 50%, we're going to switch to not nose in, which was the same, but not mouth out, but nose out.
Mm.
Then to 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. And when you're at 1, you're breathing very low in the belly, and it's like the most little maybe ever in your life. I don't promise
Cool.
things easily, but now I do. And I will guide you through the process. And at the end, we have like, I think it's taking like 1 max 2 minutes, and then maybe we have like a few slow breaths, like in that minute, or you breathe as little as you can, and we stay there for a minute. Sounds good. Planning to breathe is always good. Okay, so we're breathing nose in, mouth out, full 100% breath in. Everything out. 90%. 80. 70. 60. Switch to nose out. 50. 40. 30. 20. 5, 3, 2, 1. Breathe as light as you can, as if you're almost not breathing. And then you can keep on meditating. We could meditate now for the rest of the podcast. So pause. Hello. How are you? You look extremely peaceful.
Very peaceful.
Sorry, I got to switch to another network.
Yeah, the
So
connection.
maybe I'm going to freeze for a little bit.
I think now it's better. It cut out for a few seconds at the end. Are you still good, or now you froze? There you are. You good?
Yes. Yes, no, it's good.
Cool. Yeah, there's a short pause. Whew.
So yes, tell me.
That was, well, right now I'm feeling super, yeah, like deep drop into a meditation, which is great. And I did that one earlier. That was one you sent me. Uh, One thing that's really cool about it, it's so interesting. You know, like as a kid, you're always like discovering new things you've never done in your life because you're like a kid and you're like you've only been on the earth for so long. And as you get older, you don't really experience that as much. But this is another thing I've never done in my life before. I've never breathed so slowly in and out before ever in my life.
Right?
That is so cool. And it's kind of
And
like holding your breath. So there's like a tension,
mhm,
but also like a release. So it's kind of like my body doesn't really know what's going on there either, which is great.
you're in a deep, if we talk brain waves, like basically we're in beta because we're talking to each other. You drop not only to alpha, but to theta, which is like falling asleep, dream state. And we're talking about, I know, how long did this take? 2 minutes?
Yeah.
This is what I love, that you don't need hours. Like no time is no excuse. You just need to learn the right practice so you can play around. And that playing around, that's always my goal with my instructors, to create new breathwork nerds. So I'm not alone.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
incredible. So cool. And so that's an example of one where, in what situation would somebody want to do that one?
Well, it can be like literally, like you come from your high corporate job, you're in the car, you have a traffic jam, and then if you immediately rush out of the car and go home, what if you would do this? So wait 3 minutes before you get out of the car and do this. You come home as a nice daddy. Hey
Yeah.
kids, how are you? Instead of like, oh yeah, like all stressed out.
Yep.
You can do this anytime. So of course, if you feel like going into a meditation, this is a great moment. But there's many other, like whenever you feel like it is the better answer than
Mm.
at this specific time, or place or with this goal.
Yeah. I love that. But that's a great one. I tell my clients to have transition rituals between work and family, or after, if there was a bad meeting to another meeting.
Yeah,
So there's a great transition ritual to do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you want to use breath work for that, or you can. Let me say
Yeah.
it like that. I don't want to tell you what to do. I met you
Yeah.
in New York. You know?
I'm
Are you from New York?
from New York. Yeah. Don't mess with me.
So,
Well, the
New
Dutch.
York attitude is very
Yeah.
much like Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I love that. So I'm not there for that. I'm just to show you, and how you're going to use it, that's up to you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know you. I know. I appreciate that. Well, it's funny because the Dutch, you got, well, I'm actually Dutch too, which is also funny. My mom is
Mhm.
from Utrecht, but it's funny because the Dutch obviously are the came to New York first, right? They started
Mhm.
building over there. So
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. This is incredible. I love the work you're doing. I love that you're creating more people and skilling them up on how to do this as well. If
Mhm.
people want to learn more about you and connect with you, they can go to the website, which is timvandervliet.com. I'll put all these links will be down on the bottom of the show notes. But
Mhm.
how else can people find you, or what else should people be
But
looking
listen,
looking through?
breath work, everybody can breathe, right?
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't exist. So if you want to try things out for free and you want to, you're a do it yourself or you don't need help, use my app.
Mm.
That has at the moment, I
Wow.
think nine or 10 sessions on it. And it's like 2 clicks and you're in the breathing session.
Yeah.
Or go to one of my YouTube videos. It's all for free. If you need help, I either do like I give workshops and retreats, that's all on my website, but mostly it is one-on-one coaching, so and I'm not the cheapest, but it's like really getting deep into the practice and learning from me and my team of instructors, because I have a team of all my peers are in my team now. So you can also choose another instructor. So that's one way, that's breathing for success. The other way is if you want to pass this on, instructor program.
Mm.
All levels fine, but if you want to learn really, like I got breathwork instructors that did already 3 programs that come to my program to connect the dots.
Yeah.
And it's either people doing it for their personal development. This is always why I do instructor programs. Maybe you are a coach or a GP, a doctor, or a personal trainer, and you want to implement like 5 minutes in your coaching session, or you want to become a full-time breath work instructor, cold exposure, ice bath specialist.
Mm.
So and maybe for me, it started as personal development, and I ended up, this is my job now. I didn't plan this, I just
Yeah.
followed the flow, you could say.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they should go to the app. Forgot about the app. The app is available. What's the app called again?
The breathing room app.
The breathing
If
room
you
app. Cool.
in on Apple, it's available. We're blocked now on Google because one of the sessions is called DMT breathing, and they thought we were
Yeah.
selling drugs.
These guys.
My bad. I
Yeah.
should have known. But that will be fixed. But at this moment, it's Apple only, and yeah, it's really, all these breathing apps are all about box breathing or slow it down. That's all fine. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it, but there's no deep breathing breath hold techniques.
Yeah.
There's the Wim Hof app, of course, and there's my app, and those are the only ones. And I think, like I have various techniques, not only my own. Sorry,
Yeah.
one of my kids.
Yeah. I like that you incorporate other breathwork techniques.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be, like no bullshit. Is there
Yeah.
more than your technique? Yes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course. It's not only, and I don't buy that, like that's one of the big mistakes breathwork instructors make. You
Yeah.
take something that you've learned and it is the solution to everything. No, man, educate yourself. There's more, like oxygen advantage compared to transformational breathing are the complete opposite. And
Yeah.
they're both functional. You have to know why.
Yeah.
Some people need oxygen advantage, some people need that. TT is for in between,
Yeah.
for the daily practice and of course the longer sessions as well.
Yep. I agree. Same with coaches, right? The coaches kind of think their way is the only way. So I love that. Again, I love that you're building the
Yeah.
community and bringing the web of all the techniques and just people need more exposure to all this. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so can I spend 1 minute on
Yeah.
mindset? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
my
Please.
way, my way of my mindset, I call this the power of paradox.
Yeah.
And so a paradox is a statement that is both true and untrue at the same time. For
Hmm.
example, the words "I am lying." If I would be a truth speaker, I'm not. I would not.
You wouldn't be
I'm
saying it.
already getting confused, but
Yeah.
it's basically it's like it's a statement that cannot be true or is both true and untrue.
Yeah.
So what happens when what is the power in the power of paradox? That if we hear a paradox, like "no, you know nothing," for example, if we hear a paradox, our brain, the rational brain, kind of crashes in the analogy of a computer program. And what is left, call it gut feeling, intuition, hard thinking. So it's a way to make your rational brain crash. And the practical application of it is whatever you think, the opposite is also true,
Mm.
or know that you know nothing. And it's very funny, kind of. I'm a total specialist when it comes to breathwork, and I own that. Yet I know nothing,
Yeah.
and that is, it's like you just said something about being a kid and always curious. That's exactly what you get. Like, if I believe, for example, that vegetables are healthy and meat are unhealthy, and you believe the opposite, and I notice that, I want to hear everything from. Why do you tell me? Tell me. I want to have new information instead of having a kind of fight and trying to persuade you that no, vegetables are health. No, I know nothing. So if I know nothing, that means I'm curious to receive information and I'm willing to listen to anything
Mhm.
that is not in my belief system, and that is growth.
Yeah.
Stop, like, be willing to unbelieve whatever you believe.
Mm. I love that.
That's
That's a great one.
yeah. That's a higher consciousness.
Yeah. Be willing
So
to believe anything you do believe. Yeah. That's great.
yeah. So I'm also very clear to anyone that is willing to listen to me, to tell them, don't trust what I say, because remember, I know nothing. I'm the know
Yeah.
nothing teacher. Let's say I'm a total charlatan. Let's
Yeah.
say, like, this is all a bunch of crap, and this is why I do tests. So maybe it's time for a new breathing session. So I want to show you that 5 minutes of TT5 does something, but actually, I don't want to show you. I want you to show yourself. So let's first talk about hyperventilation again. We just did it, but
Mhm.
when we are really panicky or extreme anxiety attack, we start to hyperventilate. Now, the breath is then a reaction to either the mental state or what life is giving you in front of you, you know? It's a reaction. Ooh, stress, hyperventilation. What
Mm.
most people don't know, it works the other way around too. So say you're triggered by something, like I know, let's give a ridiculous example. By a tree. Every time you see a tree, you panic, and you know that if you go out to the park, you will see trees. You will be triggered. Whatever that trigger is, can be getting in the car, can be your mother-in-law, it can be whatever, right? So you know that will trigger you. If you have the ability to slow down your breathing, you will not get into that anxiety attack.
Yeah.
So, in other words, the ability to slow down your breathing is directly related to your perception of stress and how you can handle stress in everyday life. Right? So, okay, that was the intro. Now we're going to do 5 rounds of TT5. Before that, we're going to breathe as slow as we can. And I want you to count how many times you're breathing in a minute time. Then we do 5 minutes of breathing. And then we're going to do exactly the same test to see if there's a difference, a measurable difference. In the end, it's about how you feel. I know that. But if you can slow down your breathing, say you breathe 6 times in and out in a minute before and 3 times afterwards, very loosely translated, that means you are 2 times more relaxed.
Mm. Right.
So Let me explain TT5 and then we can go through the whole thing. Or, yeah.
Explain it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, good. So TT5 is very simple. We breathe nose in, mouth out, about 80% in. So it doesn't have to be all the way to the top and everything out, but 80% in, 80% out is good enough. We're just going to breathe a little deeper and a little faster than we need to. Breath number 6, we're going to take a deep breath in and just hold for 10 seconds. And you don't have to listen and make notes because I'm going to guide you through the process.
Cool.
After 10 seconds breath hold, we breathe out slowly, about 20 seconds. That means 1 round takes 1 minute, 5 rounds takes 5 minutes. You can feel dizzy, tingly sensations, your skin. There's always a chance to pass out, even though this is very little. So not driving a car, not driving your bicycle, not juggling knives, holding a baby in the other hand in the kitchen, just be safe. I trust everybody's self-responsibility, especially not in the water. Accidents have happened. So let's start with slowing down our breathing, and then I will get my phone.
I'm going to stay silent the whole time because I want this to be a clean recording so I can cut it for people.
Sure. So slow down your breathing. Maybe you want to close your eyes. Maybe you want to keep them open. It's all good. I will count to 3 and then time 1 minute. So first I give you some time to slow it down. I personally breathe nose in and mouth out, but you can do whatever you want as long as you do the same after the 5 minutes of breathing so you can really compare it. All right, I'm going to count to 3 and then time 1 minute. So breathe out now. 1, 2, 3. Timing. Breathe as slow as you can. Maybe you notice you feel your skin more. It's a sign that you're calming down. Breathing slowly for 1 minute is also a breathing exercise to get you in a meditative state. Make your breath out longer than your breath in. No breath holds. And this is 1 minute. Okay, just remember how many times you were breathing. Now we're going to take 5 deep breaths, nose in, mouth out. 80% in and out is more than good enough. So we're breathing a little bit faster and deeper than we need to. Here we go. Last one, deeper. And empty your lungs, everything out. And breathe in and hold, 80% or more. Hold your breath 10 seconds. I'm counting. And breathe out. Round 2, 5 deep breaths. Extra deep. Empty your lungs. In and hold. Just hold your breath and try to feel the sensations in your body. And breathe out. If you do this by yourself, you can hold your breath longer. For now, round 3, 5 deep breaths. Extra deep. Empty your lungs. And breathe in and hold. Shoulders low. Another 5. And breathe out. Breathe out everything. Round 4. Extra deep. Empty your lungs. In and hold. And release. Bit dizzy as normal. Last round. Extra deep. Everything out. In and hold. And breathe out. And now go back to slow breathing. Breathe the slowest of your life. Again, I'm gonna count to 3 and time 1 minute. So breathe out now. 1, 2, 3. Timing. Breathe as slow as you can. Fill up your lower belly, then your belly, then diaphragm all the way to the collarbones. And try to make your breath out even slower than your breath in. Completely calming down. And this is 1 minute. Notice how you feel after 5 minutes of breathing.
Incredible. I don't want to talk and break the state, but it's amazing. That was even deeper drop in.
Yeah,
I
it's a
noticed it
few
was,
minutes slower.
yeah, I noticed it was so much easier to breathe slower after.
Mhm.
The first time I did 5, which is, and the second time it was like 2, 1.5, 2. But it was like so easy just to be like, really, I could just like hold my breath and go super slow.
Yeah, nice, huh? Yeah. So this is what I use for example, in a corporate session. Breath work, yoga stuff. Why do we do that? I want to drink beer, whatever is on their mind. And then, within the first 10 minutes, you get where you are now. And suddenly it's like, oh, hey, this is cool.
Yeah. Yep. So good, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
My pleasure. I love doing it. It was great to be guided by you. So thank you for sharing it with everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, well, I'm going to put all the links for people to contact you below.
Yeah, sure.
And why don't
Thanks.
we end it with this is such a great state, but I'm going to let you end it with your final message to the audience.
I'm prepared. The key to happiness, less stress makes us happier, right? How do you get less stress? By breathing slower. So the
Mm,
key to happiness in 2 words, breathe slowly.
mm. Beautiful. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Naeem.